oh, hey, would you look at that? Hockey's back. That's nice, isn't it? It's a tough 2 days, honestly. I have nothing going on right now. All my friends are off to college. I really missed having hockey to watch. Again, you already know my stance. I don't have an issue with them being off the television for 2 days, but oh man, it's nice to have it back. If you notice, I didn't end up posting anything between. I thought about covering the NFL, but while watching the Giants blue and white scrimmage, I realized, man, football is just not doing it for me this year. I think I will do a video on why I don't really have a passion to watch football this year. That might be a video coming down the line. But we got plenty of games to cover today. 2 fun games, one boring game. Let's hop right into it. Tampa, Boston. Before the game starts, we get a very powerful video package talking about Black Lives Matter. And then after that video package, for each game, though the video package was played for each game, but then each game had their own little speeches from players on each side. And it was good stuff. It is really good stuff. The game starts off very, very physical. These teams still don't like each other, and Boston's trying to bounce back from a tough loss. Goodrow has an early chance with a 2-on-1, but he just can't cash in on it. Wagner has a great move, but he can't get the shot off. Some good defense early by the Lightning. Halak has a great stick save on Kucherov, just barely gets it with the butt end of the stick. The Boston defense was really weak today. Let up a lot of 2-on-1s, some 3-on-2, just a lot of odd man rushes, and it's just, not used to that from Boston. Gaudreau hits the post, and at 8:59, Palat gets the goals by Point and Kucherov, extending his goal streak. Carlo then takes a slashing penalty. Halak had a save, but he's a pile up in front of the net. Again, a lot of physical stuff. Maroon wasn't really starting it today, which is weird. Coyle has a good chance. Paquette wrecked Kuhlman. Big hit. And then Richie and Paquette wrestle a little bit. They didn't fight, but they kind of fought. Richie took a roughing penalty out of that. The Lightning had a really good power play there, but no goal, just better movement. Hedman's still not on the first power play unit, which is still strange to me. At the buzz, there's a lot of fighting. There's just everybody's throwing each other around, especially Chernak and Pastrnak, which is, I know Pastrnak can be physical, but I didn't expect him to be the one really starting it off. Second period, Chernak got a roughing penalty at the end there, which it carried over to the second. The ice looked really wet, which is strange because, why? It's been 2 days. They had time to figure that out. Also, it didn't look wet for the Islanders-Philly game, so I guess it's fine. Krejci's denied on a shot, then he fans on a shot, which is tough. The penalty kill by the Lightning was ridiculous. This whole period was really good. Kuhlman causes a pile-up after a scramble. He had a good drive to the net. The Bruins were just drive it to the net and see what happens type of deal for this period. Nordstrom's denied. The Bruins are really in control. Chara, though, was not playing. He was only playing if they had a defensive zone face-off, which was strange to me. I think he got some minutes on the penalty kill as well. Clifton takes a cross-checking penalty, another strong penalty kill. And these penalty kills were huge because the momentum was going in Boston's direction, but then all of a sudden, nope. Vasilevsky with a great save on Carlo. At 12:29, Palat gets his second goal of the game, by Cirelli and Kucherov, and Halak needs to save that. He was very delayed to move to that puck, and by the time he decided to move, the puck was in the net. Palat now has 2 goals in back-to-back games. After that, Richie had a disgusting hit on Gord. That was uncalled. Gord wasn't really that close to the boards. Richie hit him so hard in the back, he launched into the boards. Really bad hit. And Richie gets 5 minutes for boarding. Not much on his power play until late, to the halfway to late portions of it. Kaloran hits the post. Cirelli crushed McAvoy, which is great. I like to see that. 18:04, Hedman gets the power play goals by Johnson and Kucherov, which, again, really took the wind out of the sails of the Bruins because they were about to kill a 5-minute major perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden, puck's in the net. Bogosian takes a holding penalty to end that second period. Third period, Gord's back on the bench for Tampa, but Wagner is not on the bench for Boston. Vasilevsky looks really, really strong. Coleman takes a tripping penalty, and they kill that off. So Boston just can't get anything going on their power play. Pasta goes wide, and it's just like one of those things where it's like the net's really open, and he's got to cash that in. Lots of Goodrow and Richie finally scrap. No real winner. It was an okay fight. Shen takes a hooking penalty. Krug rings the iron, and at 7:04, DeBrusque gets a power play goals by Coyle and Grzelcyk. Boston was just off their game. Even though they scored, I never felt that they were going to win this game. With 2:10 left in the game, they go empty net, and they have nothing on that. And Tampa takes a 3-1 win, as well as a 3-1 lead in the series. Shots on goal were 30-26 in favor of Boston. Face-off percentage was 65.4 to 34.6 in favor of Boston. Tampa went 1 for 5 on the power play for 20%. Boston went 1 for 4 for 25%. Hits were 45 to 38 in favor of the Lightning. Shot blocks were 16 to 13 in favor of the Lightning, and save percentage was .967 to .885 in favor of Tampa. The big deal here was Boston was sloppy. Their defense didn't show up today, and they couldn't really sustain pressure except for the most of the first half of the second. Other than that, though, Tampa was on their game, and they kept momentum when they needed to. And Tampa's probably going to finish off the series, and I cannot see Tampa losing to either the Islanders or the Flyers because both of their offenses are really cold, and their defenses are both fairly strong, but neither are outstanding. Goaltending, though, for Islanders and Philadelphia is really nice. So, but I don't see Tampa dropping it to either anyone left in the East. I also don't think they compete with anyone in the West. So the West is winning the cup this year. That's my prediction. First period, as you can see, not much happens in these freaking Islanders games. They're so boring. They're so boring. If I didn't have friends over to watch this game, I would have slept through this. And that's only partially a joke because it's late. I'm tired. Brassard's in for Johnston, so Brassard doesn't get healthy scratch for 3 straight. Lawton's in for Raffle. I'm pretty sure it was just a scratch, not an injury. Flyers off to a fast start, and they're owning zone time. Not much specific chances to mention. At 14-18, you could see 14-18, that's the first time I really wrote anything down. Pitlick gets a goal by Lawton and Niskanen. They get another chance later by Abe Cabell, but his stick explodes. Absolutely explodes. Nelson was robbed by Carter Hart. Carter Hart, very strong, especially in the second period when the Islanders turn up the game. But the Islanders needed to get more shots on goal. That was all they were doing wrong in the first. They were playing a little slow, but if they were getting more shots on goal, that would have made up for the fact that the Flyers were planting in their zone. Second period, Eberle get hits by a Mayfield shot. Oh, God. Matthew Barzal. All right. I always said that Barzal's kind of overrated. Like, he's good. He is very talented, but he's not as good as Islanders fans say he is. But, again, they're dealing with the Islanders offense, so they don't really know what offense really is. So if anyone's bringing any offense, they're probably excited. That's mean. But he goes for the wraparound, and it's wide open. I mean, Carter Hart is, basically out of the blue paint, and all he has to do is put the puck in the net, and he just goes wide. Doesn't even go close to the goal line. Oh, that was gross. Eberle then goes wide, and then Taves and Beauvillier have a 2-on-0. No one's there to defend, and Taves just decides to pass it to Bo, and Bo doesn't cash in. Yikes, part 2. But again, they were pressuring a lot. They're starting to play some more speed, and so at 7:12, Martin gets the goals by Barzal and Eberle, and the Flyers are on their heels. It's 1-1. It's a tied game, and the Flyers are already on their heels. The Flyers go 11 minutes and 24 seconds between shots. The last shot was in the first period. Yikes. And you can see that they're slowing down. The Islanders are picking it up. Flyers are slowing it down. Grant hits Lee from behind. No call. I only mention this because I'm going to talk about in the third period the refs as well. Pitlick has a really good play on a pellet shot. Pitlick was really strong defensively in this game. The Islanders, like the Flyers in the first period, have planted in the offensive zone. Hayes and Brassard have a little exchange, and as a Rangers fan, I was like, hey, that's fun. They just kind of shoved and said something, but I couldn't read their lips. Hart is the only reason the Flyers are still in the game because they were god-awful this period. Provorov had a bad turnover. Brassard has a shot, but he's denied. At 1954, Komarov gets a goal assist by Brassard. And it's a save you'd like to see Hart maybe make, but at the same time, he had really no chance. And so now they're down 2-1, and they don't look good. Third period, Haig takes a slashing penalty, and at 3:41, Lee gets a power play goal assist by Everly and Pullock. He wasn't even trying to score. That's the worst part. He was trying to pass it, and it just bounced past Hart. That's tough. Myers hurt. He goes down. Looked like a knee injury. I didn't see him come back. Let me know in the comments if you saw him come back. I didn't see him back, so something to keep an eye on. Third period, I guess they wanted to make up for the fact that they let Lee get hit, and it was a pretty nasty hit. Like, it wasn't the worst hit. It wasn't Richie on Gord, but it was a pretty big hit. So literally nothing was called in the Islanders in the third period. There's a lot of slashing and a lot of cross-checking that easily could have been called. And listen, I don't like the Flyers. I hate Philly, and I don't really like the Islanders either. I'm just blanket statement. Nothing was getting called against the Islanders in the third period. And it's not like it would help Philly because their power play is disgustingly bad, but something to note. Varlamov robbed Farabee. Really, probably their best chance in 2 periods, and robbed. And they look beat. The Flyers look beat this period. Like, they didn't even show up. Lee gets an illegal equipment penalty. So here's the difference. I know I just said nothing can call them, but you can't miss this. His helmet was off and he was still trying to play. New rules, can't do that. 4 minutes and 10 remaining, they go empty net, and there's nothing. Nothing happens. Islanders win 3-1, take a 2-1 series lead. Shots on goal were 29-27 in favor of the Islanders. Face-off percentage was 49.0 to 51.0 in favor of Philly. The Islanders went 1 for 2 on the power play for 50%. The Flyers go 0 for 1 for 0%. Hits were 36-33 in favor of the Islanders. Block shots were 18-14 in favor of the Islanders. And save percentage was .963 to .897 in favor of the Islanders. So, I've made a little note here. The Islanders only need 2-goal lead to win. As long as they keep it under 4 goals total for themselves, the Islanders can score a max of 4 goals. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't really see them scoring more than 4 goals unless they're empty net goals. So as long as they can keep their opponent from scoring 4, they'll win the game. They only need 2 goals realistically. They only need a 2-goal lead realistically to win a game. Because once they have the lead, they're set. Problem is, both of these teams have actual offensives. Not that Philadelphia is something to sleep on, but they're not in the same world as those 2 teams. And they're nowhere near any of the Western teams. Varlamov looks great recently. So I posed a question to you. Is it legit or is it scheme? I'm going to say that it's a little bit of both. Only because I'm not really sold on Varlamov being this Vezina goalie. But I also can't deny that he has had his stretches where he's looked amazing. But also the Islanders' defense is strong. So I think it's a little bit of both, but you guys are free to debate that. Also, this is the first of back-to-back. The Islanders and Flyers play tomorrow as well. Vegas and Vancouver also are on a back-to-back. Konechny really needs a goal. This poor guy cannot get anything going. Also, the Flyers' conditioning needs some work. Their conditioning is about as good as their power play, which is not at all. They need some work. You could definitely see that the Flyers are the older team. And it's going to cost them because I don't think they can come back from this deficit only because all the Islanders are going to do is they're going to score, get the lead, and be fine. Vegas, Vancouver, you see I'm wearing my Shea Theodore jersey. Fun story, I actually bought this in Vegas. I was at the January 2nd game against the Flyers, and I had won on a machine, and I bought this jersey right before the game started, and Theodore scored the first goal for the Knights, which was fun. First period, Marchessault takes a tripping penalty, which I really didn't want to see him take a penalty early because everybody's seen the Instagram comments, and I know he's just going to get more, and it's just annoying. He shouldn't have said what he said, but it's just like, enough. He's not Mike Hoffman kind of deal, and like no one really cares that what he said a couple years ago, and like the Brendan Leipzig stuff disappeared. So it's like, we get it. It's just Canucks fans. The power play though by Vancouver, man, are they good. It's a very scary power play. Very fast, very good puck movement, very good chances. I think they got like 4 shots in like lightning pace. I thought they were going to score, honestly. Wall had a good shorthanded chance on deflection, but Markstrom saves it. At 4:05, Alex Tuch gets a goal by Wall and Theodore on a breakaway. His 3rd breakaway goal in the series. Ties longest goal streak in Vegas playoff history. And you know what? I wish we saw more of this Tuch in the regular season, because he was pretty much non-existent in the regular season. He did deal with injuries, but I mean, he's hot right now, so keep giving him the puck. Right after that, Whitecloud gets a goal at 5:28, so a minute and 23 seconds between goals. Math. Carlson had a great drop pass to Pacioretty to set it up, but Pacioretty couldn't hand it, and then Hughes turned it over to Whitecloud, and Whitecloud almost bar down, just barely missed the bar, so no ping, but it's great, absolutely great goal. Knights scored 2 goals on 3 shots, even though they were down 7-3 in shots. They're up 2-0. Roussel starts stirring the pot, and when he does that, Vegas tends to win. I don't know why he does that. He doesn't do it very effectively. Tuch almost gets another break, but the defense stops him. Lehner has a great stop on Mott. Martinez almost makes it 3-0, but it's stopped because Martinez is just not allowed to score a goal, apparently. Marshall doesn't take a slashing penalty, and on that penalty kill, Smith takes a high stick, which is weird to see those 2 guys in the box, because neither of them are regular guys. Neither of them take penalties regularly, and also they're our highest goal scorers, so or point scorers. So it's a weird tandem to see in the box. So they got 5-on-3 for a minute 18, and Lehner has a big save on Besser. Lehner has a big save on Miller. And then Miller has an exchange with McNabb. And again, I don't know how they didn't score on that power play. That power play has been the driving force of Vancouver lately. And they just couldn't score on it, and I'm surprised. Miller then takes a slashing penalty. And, oh, God, that whistle. You hear that? I'm sorry. Miller takes a slashing penalty, and the Knights just couldn't get set up on that power play. The penalty kill was very strong there by Vancouver. Carrier rock Sutter. Really good, really good hit. I love Carrier and Reeves hitting. Beagle then takes a holding penalty. The Knights are better on that power play, but I still was not very satisfied, especially with the power play work I saw by the Canucks. Really strong stuff. Second period, Whitecloud makes up for that really awful play in Game 2 where he puts himself on his own bench and he crushes Roussel. Oh, man, that was nice. Theodore deflection misses. And it's weird that I say Shea Theodore with a deflection. It's because the Knights' defense is really involved in the rush. They're really good at getting their breaks. They're really good at getting up ice. The reason that the Vancouver Canucks really couldn't score was because they were never really in the offensive zone. The Knights would just get the forecheck was nice, and whenever any type of bobble of the puck happened, the Knights were on it. It was a masterclass in playing the puck. Stetcher was denied on a pretty decent shot. McNabb had a big hit on Hughes, who's still been a target. But Hughes, Pedersen, Miller, and Roussel, enemy number 1 for Vegas in terms of hitting. Marshall has a backhand that goes wide. Stone hits the post. Knights are getting very aggressive this period. They want to make a statement. Carey has a good chance. Carlson is stopped, and you start seeing the Canucks start shuffling lines. It's all Besser move down, and Vertanen moved up to the top line. Canucks are just being outplayed. Hughes takes a tripping penalty, and Markstrom's making big saves. Markstrom is really, really showing that he's a Vezina caliber goalie, and he's an unrestricted free agent this coming offseason. And if you're a Canucks fan, you probably want to keep him, but I don't think they can, because they have Demko and they have DiPietro, and they keep singing their praises. Then why are you going to pay like $6+ million to keep Markstrom when it's a flat cap? I don't know. I don't know if they can justify that money. Otherwise, they're going to have to trade to create cap room. So we'll see. There's a really deep goalie class for free agency. So we'll see how that works out. Martinez, this poor guy, he just cannot get that one-timer on the right circle. He really wants it to be his version of Ovi's office, and every single time it's a really good shot, like it's always on net. It just won't happen. It's never. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. It's either never gonna happen or it's gonna be like Game 7 in the Western Conference Final or like Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final for the win, which like the Rangers fan in me would cry a little, but I'd take it as a Knights fan. Miller misses on a 2-on-1 because Wallet takes a slashing penalty, which will carry over into the third. And third period starts, no Pacioretty on the bench, which is a little concerning, but he was fine. He comes back after missing 4 minutes. Too many men on the ice, taken by Virtanen. So now the Knights get a power play. And at 2:19, Stone with power play goals by Theodore and Smith. Every single goal the Knights scored, besides the breakaway. Oh, you know what? That's a stupid sentence. Let me restart. Whitecloud and Stone both scored from the same spot. Very similar goals. It was good stuff. Stone was assisted by Theodore and Smith. I don't think I said that. Roussel then gets his second 10-minute misconduct penalty of the series. What is he doing? Like, okay, for 2 questions. What is he saying to the refs and or the Vegas players? And number 2, why is it not like a normal penalty? Why is it a 10-minute misconduct? They just ship him off so they don't have to deal with him anymore. Like, give me a power play. Help me out here. Is what it is. Horvat has a really good chance in front of the net. The puck just bounced to the front. I don't know if anyone passed it to him. It just looked like it bounced off, like they were like playing on the boards and bounced off to him. He's right in front, and Lehner stops him. Marsh is so wide, and Stone hits the post. Didn't that just happen? It did, but it happened again. Stevenson has a breakaway, but he cannot get the shot off. No angle, and also Hughes was right behind him. Mock goes high and wide. Marshall makes a big save on Stevenson. Reeves takes a holding penalty. Roussel hits Theodore late in the third, and Ryan Reeves just comes over there with a big smile. He's like, "Hey, sup? You mess with Theodore, you're gonna get these hands." But not happening yet. I have a feeling if the Knights take a lead tomorrow, that we'll finally see a Reeves-Roussel fight. But also, if I'm Roussel, I don't want that fight. Reeves is a scary guy. At 2:35, with 2:35 left to play, Vancouver goes empty net. Roussel hits the post, and that's all I got. No lead changes in this series as Vegas shuts out Vancouver for the second time this series. Vegas fans better start giving respect to Lehner because he's really good against Vancouver. He's been really good lately. He has 4 wins over Vancouver. All of them are shutouts. Every single one. So maybe he's worth starting over Fleury. But tomorrow, I bet Fleury gets to start because it's a back-to-back. I'd be very surprised if they go with Lehner on a back-to-back. Shots on goal were 34-31 in favor of Vegas. Face-off percentage was 57.6 to 42.3 in favor of Vancouver. Vegas went 1 for 4 on the power play for 25%, while Vancouver went 0 for 5 for 0%. Hits were 39-30 in favor of Vegas. Shot blocks were 22-20 in favor of Vegas. Save percentage was 100% to .912 in favor of Vegas. What happened, Vancouver? I would say it's pretty simple. The last game, Vegas did play better. The defense just had some lapses. This time it didn't happen. Vegas was not turning the puck over in their own zone. They were constantly getting the pucks in. They were constantly doing the typical hockey interview: get pucks in deep, establish a forecheck. No, the Knights were all over the place, very fast paced. They were playing their game, very physical, on top of the puck, constantly going in your direction, and they did it to perfection. And I don't think that Vancouver can actually compete with that. When Vegas is on their game, they're much better than Vancouver. I think they're much better than the rest of the league. Again, I'm a little biased, and I'll admit that, but I do think that when Vegas plays the way they did tonight, that's the Stanley Cup champion. When they play the way they did last game, it's a first-round exit to the Sharks. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Vegas is really without a direct weakness. Like, the defense can have a lapse. Every single defense has a lapse. I wouldn't say their defense is a liability, though. The defense is solid. Their offense, solid. Their offense really has a really good top six, and their bottom six is really good because you got Tuck and Stevenson in the bottom six, and they're really good goal scorers. Carey and Reeves bring the hits. Cousins is good as well, and Wall is really physical as well. So even their bottom six is really good. And they have goaltending. You got Fleury and Lehner. I mean, I don't see an issue with Vegas. I really think that they're going to take it all the way. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you like my takes on things, I'm also on a podcast now, which I just announced in a previous video, the Armchair Analyst podcast. You'll be found on SoundCloud. And that's all I got. I gotta get to bed so I can watch the next set of games. Good night.